Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Moms Uncensored, recapping the Awakened Spirit Expo. JereLyn and I had the pleasure of being with Crystal Starshine down at the Cop Galleria this weekend for the Awakened Spirit Expo. And here's the program, just so you guys can see. I was in booth J doing readings. This is going to be a show and tell. And JereLyn, I'm pulling you up, JereLyn. She was in booth 500 with Crystal Starshine, helping her out. So, the reason why we wanted to talk about this is it was both of ours first expo. I've been to expos as a not an exhibitor, as a attendee, and it was just such an inspiring weekend, and there was so much going on that JereLyn and I thought it would be a great thing to talk about because for both of us it was a weekend away from our children. She got time off from Titus, I got time off from Erica, and we just had a very good girls' weekend. We stayed with Crystal in a hotel room, and we went out to eat, and we did all sorts of different things. So I'm just going to talk about my experience in the beginning on Friday, because it was a little nerve-wracking. I have a job at a university not too far from the gallery, and I had to work on Friday, and I actually worked over when I was supposed to leave. The setup was from 12 to 5, and I worked till 12:30. I actually didn't leave campus till 1, and I didn't get there until almost 2 o'clock. It's like 1:30, 2 o'clock, so I was very overwhelmed. Very like, oh god, I have to get my booth set up, and what's it going to look like? I had an idea, and I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to do. And then, luckily, JereLyn helps balance me out because I had like 5 bags packed. Well, not really. I had like 3 works with the clothes, and she got me to center the clothes that I brought. And when I got there, it was like a big sigh of relief, whenever you're preparing for something like that. And there's just so much to do. Like, JereLyn and I were at Crystal's house doing inventory the Monday before, and there's a lot, and for me it was making sure that I found all the tools and, the perfect table, altar cloth, to do readings on. I had to pay extra shipping to make sure I got my banner and my sign and my business cards, and getting that all nice and together. And it was amazing when I finally just pulled up, parked my car, grabbed my suitcase, and walked in, how much of a sigh of relief I had, and how excited I was to be there. And walking up to my booth, the floor plan, the way it's set up, is actually in the program. So I'm going to try to show you guys. This is in booth 500, at that little corner. And I'm in booth J, which is actually more like diagonal away from Crystal, but it ended up being right across. Like I could throw paper balls hit JereLyn in the face, which I thought multiple times, but I was like, we're at an expo, let's try to be a little professional. And it was just really cool because I got to see people that I hadn't seen before, because the expo was actually hosted by Forever and Day. It was a metaphysical shop in Woodstock, and it was a wonderful metaphysical shop. I've been blessed to have been employed by them last year. That's how I met Crystal, and they're just really great people, and it was just awesome to have. For me, it was very empowering to listen to one of the owners, Michael, how excited he was that I had a booth. He actually meant it too. Because in my eyes, they see me as an employee, not as a reader or doing anything else. But that's not really true. They're very encouraging and very supportive in all aspects. So that was my experience up until getting there. JereLyn, how was your experience?
My experience was busy. I was basically Crystal sales girl. for all intents and purposes. But instead of selling Volkswagen Beetles, I was selling shiny things. I was selling Crystal too, which, you know, hey. But she was doing angel readings and just using her cards and using her intuition and then all of that. And we were selling stuff like what I'm playing with, actually. I'm playing with a little orange calcite in my hand that I did not buy at the expo, but I did buy it Forever and a Day. So they're related, you know. But I did get a crystal at the expo. However, I did not buy this. I was given this, actually. It's an amethyst geode by a couple that just randomly, you know, I was talking to, not really randomly, they passed by and I waved and said, "Hi, come see sparkly shiny things and sparkly shiny people." And they did, and I talked to them, and apparently they said I was super awesome. And they came back with this for me. That was really cool. I didn't get to see a lot of the expo because of that, because I was behind the scenes, well, in the midst behind the scenes, behind a booth. I came out one time and I was walking around and they were like, "Oh my God, you're wearing a skirt." I've been wearing a skirt all day. I didn't change that, but nobody could see that because they could only see the top up. It was kind of funny. But yeah, so my perspective was from that area. So I could see across from me, 4D Healing, next to me, Lindsay, diagonal from me, Clarity Queen, and then this way, the Brazilian crystal guy, which, you know, he was cool because, hi, sorry, a friend of mine just got home. Hi, honey, I'm on a call. Anyway, and then next to us was a numerology lady who was sharing a booth. Lisa was sharing a booth with Tracy Owens, who's an empowerment coach, but she had a specific way of putting it. She empowers people by finding the blockages in their lives and getting rid of the blockages. And that was Tracy Owens and Lisa, sorry, with an R, Robinson maybe. And a lot of us traded. I got to see a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff. So instead of actually purchasing, we traded services. So like Crystal traded an orange calcite angel for Lisa's numerology 5-year chart, which I don't know what her normal prices are, but she was actually only charging $20 at the expo for 5 years worth of reports of hers, and that was freaking amazing. And she was giving away your life number for free. I'm a 4. Apparently I'm an awesome manager, organizer, goal getter, and it's annoying to me when things are out of order. Which is true, because for my entire life, if a book is in series, I can't read 1 and then 7 and then 10 go back to 3. I have to read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when people like watch TV shows out of order, I can't do that. I have to wait until I actually see the 8th episode before I can go to the season finale and see 13. So she was really accurate. Everybody I think there was really accurate. I don't think I saw any person that was not genuine. And there were a few mixes of egos and people who were upset with some of the turnouts, but it was also the very first event. It was the first annual, which I always think is ironic, because how can it be the first annual when it hasn't been annual yet? But it is the first annual, because Michael and Sherry did say we'll come again. So there are some things that need to be worked out, and there always will. I mean, in their 22nd annual, there will still be kinks that need to be worked out, and there was so much energy there. Oh my God, there were so many different people there, so many different modalities and pathways. There was this light bed thing, which I didn't get to try, but the girl next to us, the numerology girl, went in. She said she spent 10 minutes in there, and it felt like she took an hour nap. There was crystal upon crystal upon crystal person. Not just us. There was one where they had like an entire store set up. I mean, Forever and a Day did. They had their entire freaking store, including new products that they hadn't shown at the store yet, chilling out at the very first front entrance booth. And there were tons of readers lining the walls of all different walks of life, and not even people I would consider a reader. You know, there were authors there. There were people doing life coaching, which you know, not a reader per se, but and then there were readers like, you know, Lindsay, who were using intuition or cards, or there were Reiki healers there, or Akashic Records people there, you know, and there were shamans there. I met this really cool shaman guy. He was got the dreads going on and a hat, and he had this very LA, not that at that LA, but New Orleans, LA
Was it Jerry?
feel to him. I have no idea what his name was. I never did actually ask. He was there with his wife. His wife reminded me of, you know, like a Haitian voodoo lady.
I know who you're talking about. Keep talking. I'll let you know when I find the name.
Yeah, but they were cool, and they had a lot of interesting stuff. They had spirit bottles, and they had these little pendulums that, you know, I don't know what they did exactly, but they were cool. And the guy across from me in the 4D healing, he got one, and he said that whoever made them, his wife, and the husband and wife team, and they were another husband. There were a lot of teams there. There were husbands and wives, the mothers and daughters, all working together in the different booths. But Jeff, who's Shelly's husband from 4D Healing, got one of those pendants that I'm talking about from the shaman people.
Mm-hmm.
And the shaman people made them, and they said that they came from the ninth dimension. So the 4D Healing people got something made from the ninth dimension, or whatever. It was very entertaining. And there's a lot, I mean, I met a truth seeker. He talked about all the UFOs that he saw in Washington, D.C. There's just there was a lot of different stuff that I saw and heard, and, you know, and I had some lady who looked like a vampire walk past me like 20 times. So I had a few of those. Like, I had a couple Harry Potter-ins. I had a couple druid types. I had a few lots and lots of very flowy, gypsy kind of stuff, and lots of hippie stuff. And then I had one guy standing behind us in the palmgetic thing. I still don't even know how to pronounce that, but they were selling these little stickers almost that you put on your body for different reasons, like for sleep and for pain and all that. But anyway, that guy was wearing a cowboy shirt the entire expo. I think the last day he was purple. And he stood out because he was not wearing gypsy, flowy, hippie crap. Not that it's crap, because I was wearing the same shit, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so yeah, and I got a lot of random stuff. I mostly got stuff from booths that came to me specifically and talked to me. So, like, I had the Mystic's Garden's daughter, Jan Petrie's daughter, Dawn, come to me, and I got one of what I call their magic sticks, but they're really massage wands. Yes, Lindsay got one too, and Crystal got one too. Basically, everyone I talked to bought one of these lovely ladies right here. They have a crystal on top, and they're held together with a resin, and they're on a glass wand, if you will. The bottom piece, the ball here, is the massager. And then the crystal part just directs energy. It's not really part of, you're not going to poke this into somebody's flesh. Don't do it. Do not do this at home. But the wands came in different colors. I'm sorry, my friend's sitting here laughing at me because I'm telling people not to poke each other. But and the crystals come in different types. This is citrine. It's my son's birthstone. And the clear is for clarity and focus. Citrine is for abundance, prosperity, manifestation. And I've been trying to manifest quite a few things into my life, including abundance and prosperity. Crystal got one where it's solid red on the bottom for strength and passion, and amethyst on top for nurturing and something else. But amethyst by itself is a very high vibrational stone, and so is citrine. Lindsay, which one did you get?
Sorry, I'm trying to pull myself up. I got one that has blue on the bottom,
Great.
which is like emotional healing and balancing, all about balance. And then I got clear quartz on the top, so I get to. I love clear quartz personally. I probably couldn't get enough of it because you can program it to do whatever you want it to do. I don't know if you showed everyone, but the resin is colorful and sparkly in my opinion. So it's really, really cool to get this, because what she does, she actually does like a reading on you and moves you through the chakras.
So what she did for that was she did chakra balancing. And I like the resin too. That's actually what first drew me to it. besides her coming over and freaking demonstrating it on me and it feeling absolutely wonderful. I had a migraine that entire day, and she used this on the back of my neck right here, and I was like, oh my god, I love you, and totally melted, and I had to have this because it worked like a fucking charm. And I did not have anything with me to help with migraines, like anything, really, any sort of pain medication, and half that time, by the time it's that bad, it doesn't work anyway. And this actually took it away for, I don't know, at least a half an hour, I think. But it was pretty awesome. And so I knew I had to get one before I left the expo because, and I was just hoping it wasn't too expensive because I was totally missing work to come be at this awesome event. But the resin I thought was really cool because what it reminds me of is soldering. And I have done a shit ton of stuff with soldering. I have done stained glass pieces that you hang in the window. I've done pieces that you make plaques out of, and I've just done a lot of work with that. And so it reminded me of that. And I'm like, I totally want to go get a soldering gun, like right now. And I thought that today, driving home. I was like, I really want to go get one now and be, you know, get into trouble, I'm sure, with all my different fire tools that I used to have and no longer do. But yeah, that was probably one of my favorite pieces that I got. It's from a Mystic's Garden, I think is what they call their shop. And the free stuff was freaking awesome. Yes, that's their card right there. Mystic's Garden with Dan Petrie and Dawn. Can't read it. Pryor? Is that what that says, Lindsay? I think this was Pryor. But I got quite a bit of free stuff because people just said I was so awesome, which is great because they were awesome. You know, everybody there that I personally met and dealt with, they were all wonderful people, you know. So Vinay had his shop. He gave me a labradorite ring. Freaking pretty. I bought this, but Dawn introduced me to it, so I love you, Dawn. Thank you. Those random people, Kitty and her boyfriend, and then they sent over more random people who bought more stuff, so thank you for spreading the love. And then a huge thing of coconut oil from Coconut Oil Supreme, packaged expressly for the Healthy Food Fairy. That was just a free sample that people were giving out. And I got a massage candle from my brother-sister team from La Dira. That's the name of their company. Wonderful people. Wonderful people. And this one's called Paradise. Smells amazing. But basically you light it on fire. You know me, I love fire. And you let it melt, and then you can use it to massage with, which I always need more massages. Trust me, everybody does. So, oh, what else did I get? And I also got something from Allison Roberts' table. I think it was her daughter or her niece, somebody pretty that works for her. And she gave me this like little dropper bottle of oil. Has their card on it and everything too. But she's on Facebook under just her name, Allison Roberts. And it's for relaxing. So you just put a few drops like on your skin somewhere and behind your ears. And she said she actually uses it on her dog to handle car rides. That was pretty cool. And I think they had more than one formula that did more than one thing. And she was also giving presentations, and a lot of people were giving presentations. The girl I was working for, Crystal, gave a presentation called Uniquely Woman. Lindsay was in the middle of a reading when it started, but we waited quite a while to hopefully get Lindsay there. And we had a pretty good turnout. I think it was like half the room was full. And a lot of our friends came, Lori Davis and Mandy, and I don't remember if Angela did. Angela made it because she brought her husband. We had 2 guys in the Uniquely Woman seminar. Isn't that fucking awesome? And they were both husbands supporting their wives. And we did some meditations, and we did some songs, and we did a talk. And I really liked Crystal's talk. And it was, I mean, she had a couple notes, but it was mostly just her talking, which was fun. But my favorite part of her speech, besides dancing around randomly during Shake It Out, because we all know that's one of my favorite songs, was she was talking about how she made everybody get up and do the meet and greet, had them talk to a stranger, introduce themselves, and I was surprised at the things that they were sharing. They were talking like about really deep stuff, like adopted kids and, you know, moving across country and just all sorts of, like, you know, big events in their lives, or big pieces of themselves. And the point of this whole thing was we had just done a meditation about trying to find one thing, just one thing about yourself that you really like, and about not focusing on the negative. And, you know, how everybody asks, oh, what's wrong, instead of, hey, what's going right in your life? And if you focus more on, hey, what's going right in your life, then more good things and more right things should pop up, and less of the, oh, what's the matter crap, which none of us really want, hopefully, unless we're total drama queens. But, so you find one good thing about yourself, and you got up and you talked to this random stranger for, what, 5-10 minutes, maybe, max. We all sat back down, and she went down the row and asked everybody, including the men, by the way, what was one thing that you liked about the person that you talked to? And some people said some really profound stuff. I mean, we had this one moment where this lady, like, she actually got up and went back to the woman that she had been talking to, put her hand on her shoulder, and almost made the entire room cry, telling them, yeah, no, Lindsay teared up totally. And I was like, I feel like crying. And just basically said how amazing this woman was and how giving this woman was. And the whole point of all of that for Crystal was to show people that they would have never met these people if they hadn't have done that exercise. Not even if they hadn't come to the seminar, because really, what do? We walk in, we sit down, we listen to whoever the hell's speaking, then we get up and we go. And we stay in our little niches, we stay in our little groups, you know, Angela and Mandy and their boyfriends, and the woman who came alone, and, you know, the woman who came with her husband, would have all left with the same people and wouldn't have said hi and wouldn't have met each other. And Crystal said it's the same thing that's happening in the expo. People are staying in their little groups, and they are running past people and not stopping and not saying hi and not saying, you know, hi, who are you? And, oh my God, I love your skirt. And, you know, you're wearing a pound of jewelry, right? What's up with that? Nobody said anything. They just kept on walking. Or maybe they gave the flamingo lady a funny look, but didn't ask her, lady, why are you wearing a hat that's shaped like a flamingo and bright pink leggings? Clarity Queen talked to her for an hour. Literally, I think it might have even been an hour and a half. But most people aren't going to walk up and say hi and ask why you're wearing a tiara, or, you know, talk to your kid while you look around and shop. I talked to so many kids that day. Oh my goodness, I distracted a lot of little people. I got hugs from a volunteer, Tina's son, just randomly, like, in the middle of a conversation. He would just come up and hug me and go back to doing what he would, come up and hug me again, go back to what he was doing. So making those connections for me was probably the most that I did at the expo. And granted, I was selling you pretty things, but I was also making connections with pretty people, and some people who weren't so nice. But it was because they were closed off and didn't know what they were doing and weren't comfortable. But I think that next year, everybody will be a little bit more open, know a little bit more about what they're doing, what to expect. Because it was the first dry run, you know, and a lot of the readers needed a little bit of a dry run, because I was told by several people, I was given the feedback that, oh my God, you're so bubbly and so open. And I'm like, of course I am. What do you mean? And they're like, you have no idea how many people aren't. Like, what do you mean? They're trying to sell their services. They're trying to make connections and network. And they're like, no, they're really not. They're just sitting back and saying nothing and not, like, coming up to people and saying hi or walking around. I mean, Lindsay and Crystal went around every couple of hours or more and gave out business cards and networked and said, hey, what's up? We're not in competition with each other. You know, we're a big, huge community, and that's how it should be. We should be a community. Shouldn't be, you know, well, she's a healer and I'm a healer, or I'm a crystal seller and she's a crystal seller, or I'm an author and she's an author. Well, holy shit, we gotta sell more books than her. No, you guys have two different books. Even if you don't have two different books, who gives a fuck? You're both friends, and you're going to be fine, and I'm going to have a different message than she is. You know, Lindsay's an author, Crystal's an author, I'm an author. We're promoting each other's work. We're not trying to squash it, go, oh shit, she has a new book out. What do I do? Okay, I'm going to write 20 more, and they're all going to be better. No, I'm not going to do that, because what the hell's the point in that? We're supposed to be helping each other out and creating a bigger world, not a smaller one. So I'm hoping that this expo goes really, really well next year, because I think it went really well this year. And I hope it just gets bigger and better and more awesome. And we have more talks and more workshops. The door prizes were really cool. Lindsay won a door prize. Lindsay, what'd you win?
Okay, I know you mentioned the Brazil people. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to show this card. Everything that we're showing, by the way, especially for those of you who are on YouTube watching this, I'm going to put all the information down below because we've got the cards. That way, if you heard their name and you resonated with it, you can go ahead and check it out. So, the Brazil guy, Wellington Ferreira, we actually, JereLyn and I saw him in the parking lot as we were leaving, and it was so cool because I got to tell him, oh my gosh, I won your door prize, which was a pink tourmaline. You can see the pink all over in this baby. Like there's a big piece. Oh, right there. Nice big chunk, and it's just all over. It's a beautiful piece. It's a great meditation one, and it came like he wrote down the price for it. It's actually a really nice door price. It's like valued at $45, and then a little thing on what pink tourmaline is, and it's a heartstone chakra. I'm just specifically going to say that for you guys. It's a heartstone chakra, and what was really cool about this piece is it was a door prize on Saturday, and I didn't realize that exhibitors could sign up for door prizes. And one of the volunteers, Lauren, was like, "Yeah, go ahead," because actually Sherry won something on Saturday, and she's one of the producers of the expo and one of the co-owners of Forever and a Day. And I was like, "Oh, if Sherry can win, so could I," you know. So I put my name in Sunday morning, and this was a leftover from the day before. Somebody won it but never claimed it. So when my name was pulled, I got the next one, which was really, really cool. Um, so that's one of the things. Another cool thing was the first 500 people on Saturday to the expo got a bag. Just this nice purple reusable bag, and I actually have all of my expo stuff like in it. So I can keep track of what was expo and what was not. And there's a bunch of free stuff in there too. I actually highly recommend this tea. They're selling it at Forever and a Day. It's the Republic of Tea. So I've got some alkali green tea, which is funny because me, JereLyn, and Crystal were talking about switching from coffee to green tea, and I don't know, it's not possible at this moment. I have a little bit of an addiction, I'm not gonna lie. And then I also love hibiscus tea. So I've got 2 little samples, which are absolutely awesome. And then, as JereLyn was saying, for me, like, I was really nervous walking into it, but I just wanted to be of service to the right people. You know, the right people would have come into my booth regardless. And so I had an opportunity. On Saturday, it was mainly me at my booth. And what JereLyn was talking about, you know, the energy of, was, you know, for some it was great, for some it wasn't. You know, it just depends on who you really talked to. And at the grocery store that I work at, one of the things, because I'm in the customer service area, is one of the things is you don't have a customer, you stand in front of your register and you talk to every person within 10 feet. It's called 10 and 10. You talk to that person within 10 seconds, within 10 feet of you. So I had no problem. I've been doing this for years. I had no problem actually making connections with people as they're walking by and say, "Hi, my name is Lindsay," and I actually explained a lot of what I did. And I ended up getting, I think, 4 or 5 of my readings that way. Because what ended up happening is we were on the first row coming in, like the door, and you come down and we were back here. People were just circling the expo. I actually had 2 readings on Sunday. They came back because on Saturday all they did was circle, figure out what they wanted to do, and then on Sunday they came back and they did the buying and the readings and everything, because they were just, it wasn't like the largest expo I've ever seen, but it wasn't the smallest either. There was enough that there was so much stuff And it makes sense that you spend all day just trying to figure out what you resonate with and what you don't resonate with. And so one of the so here's some of my like people that I really talked to and I resonated with was Sharon from the Circus Insight cards. For my Spiritual Art Friday video, JereLyn suggested that I make a crystal deck and bring it to the expo because we'll need a crystal deck. So I made one and I showed it to Sharon because she was selling different decks. And Sharon gave me some really great advice and suggestions on what to do and how to go forward. And it was literally me right before the expo on Sunday. I had a bunch of my business cards, a stack of them. I was like, we're just going to take a stack and see what happens. I was just walking around exchanging information. I walked up, I said, hey, I'm Lindsay, I'm in booth J, I'm doing readings. I was wondering if I could give you my business card and I could take your information. And some of the people were for it. Some of the people were like, whatever. I'll just exchange just because you're asking. And it's funny because in the exhibitor packets, there were these manila folder packets. It actually had suggestions on how to make your expo experience the best possible. And one of the things on there was stand up, talk, smile, engage. Don't sit down. And it was funny because there was a suggestion, don't sit down and read a book in your booth because then you'll seem unapproachable. And I saw so many exhibitors doing that, even readers. I was very confused by that. And on Saturday, I was in the front and I had 3 readings. And then the reader next to me was like, I have to take she just looked at me because it was like 2 hours into the expo at this point. She's like, I need to take a page out of your book because I am not getting anything. But then again, she was very closed off. She's been a reader for a little while, and she wasn't really engaging. She was just sitting at her table. I don't think she was reading anything, but she just looked distracted, you know? But I was trying to engage and be a part of. The other lady that was next to me is Clarity Queen that JereLyn was talking about, and she was a sweetheart. She was with, honestly, I don't know if it was her boyfriend or husband or who he was, to tell me the honest truth. I didn't even ask because I wasn't even, it was like, Chris is there. She had, Chris, who I believe is just helping her out. I don't know. He does whitewater rafting. I've got his business card too. Up in Tennessee. Yeah, up in Tennessee. That's where they're from. And it was great. We just went back and forth. They had dark chocolate little things on their tables, so I was able to have some dark chocolate from them. Fair trade, all organic. It was wonderful. And it was just like those are the exhibitors I really remember, and I actually exchanged information with and really talked to, along with 2 other readers that I knew actually before the expo from Forever and a Day, and one of them is Grace. And she calls herself Bohemian Grace, and her cards, her business cards, are actually decks, and she has a little coupon on them, but they're actual card decks, which is funny because Crystal, her giveaway at her talk was this, an actual deck card. I don't even know what deck this is, but I really resonated with the colors and everything. And Grace is really cool. She's moving up to Charlotte this Thursday, and she's big on trading, you know, and bartering. JereLyn was talking about that. There's a lot of that going on. I actually traded readings with Kathleen Robinson, who's local in our area. I actually did business coaching for her, and she did a reading for me, so it was really cool. And then one of the volunteers that I know, I walked up to him and was like, I feel like I just gotta give you a reading. I really truly feel it. And I was like, I don't even care if you pay, barter, I don't care. I feel like I need to talk to you. And it turned out he needed some business stuff too. You know, I was actually talking to Crystal yesterday. I noticed that reading is not my forte. I mean, I can do it. I did it this weekend. I did like 17 readings in a Reiki session. I'm tired. I was a busy girl. But that's not the end all be all for me. I can definitely see my direction going in business coaching and virtual assistant work, which is pretty funny because now I'm the Angel Star assistant for Crystal Starshine, and I've got three really definitely like on board, and then one kind of on board with me. Doing some business coaching for them and assistance, especially when it comes to like so many people are going to be online soon. You know, most of the world is becoming online. The future of businesses is online, and so that was a really cool like spiritual 2x4 right here, really right here, especially when towards the end of the expo, more people that were coming into my booth were needing life coaching and business coaching. And I could just tell. It wasn't like a traditional reading, it was guidance on that aspect. And then three people that really were cool. I've got two volunteers. One of them is Lauren Lopez. Well, that's her portrait. When I walked into the expo on Saturday, oh my god, she was so cute. She squeals, runs up to me, gives me a huge hug, and goes, "Oh my god, I know you from YouTube." I felt famous. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie, I got really excited. I thought it was really cool because she noticed me from Coffee and Inspiration. And I thought it was just the coolest thing. You just get like, I just felt famous. I was like, oh, that's so cool. And so she became one of my volunteer buddies, and so she actually came with us to Pam Graff, the keynote speaker on Saturday, which I adore Pam. And I have to share this before I go on to the other people that I want to talk about, like the connections and stuff. It was really cool to finally meet Pam in person. I say finally because a few months back, I was on Twitter on a tweet chat. It was hashtag psychic chat that Nicole Byam from Guiding Echoes did. And Pam Graff was the guest speaker for that week. And I got really excited. I was like, oh my god, I'm so excited because I knew she was coming to Atlanta. And I really wanted to meet her. So we did the tweet chat. I did a little plug for the expo, and that was that. And about 6 weeks ago, I started my Twitter campaign for promoting the keynote speaker on Twitter for the expo. And when I started doing that, Pam actually followed me back on Twitter. And I got so excited. I screenshotted, oh my god, I think to JereLyn, oh my god, Pam Graff followed me, she's following me on Twitter. I'm so excited because Twitter is like my forte when it comes to social media. And there's so many people who have heard of it, but it's like my forte. I love Twitter. And so I walked up to her. I was like, I just want to let you know, I'm so glad to meet you in person. And thank you for following me back on Twitter. You know, I don't have a book for you to sign, but I would love to have a picture with you. She looked at me and she's like, are you Lindsay? And in that moment, it was twice in one day, I was like, I feel famous because one of my favorite authors remembers my name, and then somebody recognized me from YouTube. I was like, this is really cool. I felt like a complete dork. I was like, I feel famous, especially when a New York Times bestselling author, keynote speaker at the expo that you're at, remembers your name. I just had a moment. I had a fangirl moment. I really did. I was just so excited. So that was really cool. That was a highlight, definitely, for me. And then afterwards, we ended up, after her keynote, which was really cool. You know, she's not a speaker. It's not her forte, which is totally fine. What was really cool about her talk was she was very authentic. You know, I thought that was really how authentic it was. And then there's a picture on Crystal's page where she has all of us. It's our tribe, and we're all like in an angle, sitting in the aisle, and I think it was everybody. We all went out to dinner. We were going to try to go to the Cheesecake Factory, but Cheesecake Factory at 10 o'clock on a Saturday night's really, really busy. So we ended up going to Ted's Montana Grill, like right next to it. And there was like no one there. It was quiet, it was intimate, it was peaceful, and it's what all of us needed at that moment, because Crystal, JereLyn, and I were just exhausted by the end of Saturday. I remember sitting at the table eating because all I needed was food and bed. I think that's where I was at. We needed food and then we needed our beds. Because we were just, all three of us, we were talking to people, networking, making connections, doing our thing. And, you know, for me, it was, my intention was to make connections and be of service. And then the readings and everything would be an added bonus tonight. Which was really cool. And then, so yeah, the other two, before I throw it back to JereLyn and see if she wants to say any more things, was on Friday, one of the volunteers just stopped in my booth, because one of the things I really did about my booth, and a lot of exhibitors actually stopped and sat in my booth just to collect the energy, was to make the energy welcoming and inviting. So I had a lot of crystals. I had a prosperity and abundance grid like I made in there. I had a little meditation fountain that's cordless and runs on batteries. I actually had it staying there, so I had a water fountain going on in my booth. And I had all my decks. I had a couple statues, and I had crystals everywhere. I brought everything. Didn't use everything, but I brought everything because I didn't know what I would need. You know, it's just one of those, feel the energy in the room, figure out what you need, and then do it. And then my banner, for some reason, was having difficulty staying up too, so it was just so much fun. I was having difficulties Friday just getting it perfect. I want to get it right. Well, one of the volunteers, Tina, she came up and she's got a business card. She's very connected with the fairies, and she's really, really short. But when you look at her, and you can tell that she's elemental. I mean, you really can. She's very elemental. And she just started talking. I don't even remember how it started, but all of a sudden she goes, "I'm so glad you know what, some of the ego's going on. I've been yelled at, and people are being yelled at. It's just nice to have a refreshing, smiling face who's just happy and, you know, go lucky." Because that was another thing I've done, is the ones that were in competition, and their intent was to do better than anybody else, didn't do very well. Because I will say this. I won't tell you how much I made, or I won't tell you how much Crystal made, but I will tell you this. We made more than we spent on the expo, which is great for a first-time expo for all of us. And the expo itself being the first time, the sheer fact that we all made our money back and then some is incredible, because that's the goal. Whenever you do an expo, that's the goal, because expos are great to connect with, like, businesses. And on a level of, like, social media, that's what I do on Twitter. Like, I have to follow other people who have liked my business, and that's how you gain followers. Like, that's the secret to getting followers on Twitter. Authentic followers. People who actually want to hear and see what you have to share. You know, and that's the same thing with an expo. So I would walk around with my business cards, exchange information, and talk. And that's how I got my wand, actually. And I've already used it. You know, I'm a Reiki practitioner, and I'm really excited that this weekend was very interesting. I will tell you guys this much. It was a very interesting weekend, because it started off with chaos going on with my family Friday. Me saying, alright, well, Spirit's going to take care of them, to tears and anger and me freaking out and turning off my phone and needing a break, to Sunday, me actually giving everybody massages with the little ball and doing Reiki on everybody, which was really cool. It was really cool to have family really, really supportive. And so the shaman that JereLyn was talking about, his name is Jerry Miller. Really cool guy. He's actually centered in Stone Mountain. Michael, he's one of the producers of this show, of the Awakened Spirit Expo. He went out to find him and was like, "You need a booth. Please come to our expo." we really want you there. And he has some really cool stuff. Him and his wife are really, really great people and really, really fun. And then Sunday morning, I've gotten a massage from Karen Wilkins before at the psychic fair at Forever Day, and she does the holistic fair at the herb shop in Holly Springs. And great lady, chair massage. It was funny because multiple times where people were like, "Oh, you and your angel wings are just so whoosh." Well, by Sunday morning, I'm tired, and my shoulders were just hurting. I mean, I tried to get one with her on Saturday, and I just couldn't, and which was a blessing. Karen was so cute about it. She's like, "It's all right, girl. You're busy. That's good." You know. And so Sunday, she did a massage on my back, and she just worked in my shoulder blades the entire time. Like, that's where she was. That and underneath my arms, because all the energy was getting stuck here. She was just like, and after that, it was just like, JereLyn can tell you. Sunday, I was either in my booth or networking. I went out to lunch with Vinay, who's from the Baraja booth, and I got this beautiful shawl from his booth. So I was networking there, and I was running around. There was Crystal's talk, and I was late for that because somebody's reading was running over. I was like, I gotta go to this talk, and it was just incredible. And I pay a lot of that to Karen, bring my vibrations down to that. Like, let's be relaxed. And then I wanted to share this one last thing because it's a really cool magazine. Everybody who was at the expo got this Sedona magazine. And I've briefly looked through it, and I have extra copies. So if you're in the Atlanta area, or even anywhere, let me know if you want a copy of it. It's just a big, nationally dispersed metaphysical magazine, pretty much. That's the best way I can put it. And I'm trying to think, what else? I don't know, this weekend went by really, really quickly. But it was cool. For those of you who are in a spirit-led business who haven't done a expo before of this magnitude or of this caliber, please do. Because it's worth it. It is. And it's not about... And for me personally, if you walk into it not trying to make the money that you spent into the expo, Spirit will always provide. Which was really, really cool, because I think for me it was more important to connect, not just with other businesses, but with clients and everybody who's in the attendees walking through. I collected a lot of emails, so I've got people from my emailing list. I collected a lot of information, and this week's going to be emailing, and we're fixing kinks on the website and figuring out what's next and what to do better, what to do differently. So, all right, JereLyn, I'm going to pull you up.
Am I up? Maybe.
You got anything else?
I think we could both probably talk about the expo for the next 3 or 4 sessions. But anything I want to close with? I don't know. I mean, there was so much to see and do. Like, I wanted to go over to the Mayan Cafe, and I never ended up getting over there and, like, checking him out or whatever, but the Mayan lady owner ended up coming to Crystal's booth. Just proof enough, I guess, that you manifest what you want, because she literally came over and started talking to me. I'm like, oh, okay, hi. And I think everybody who we connected with, we were supposed to, and I think that's how it happens at every expo. I wanted to see more, I wanted to do more, but I think even if I was just there to go see and go do, I still would have left with that same feeling of, well, I want to see more, I want to do more, but just because you don't want it to end after 2 very short days, and you want to be able to see and do as much as possible there. And there were a lot of people I was surprised from so far out of town. Like the lady in the Indian booth, she had gorgeous stuff, all sorts of different clothes and accessories and skirts and dresses. There was this one blue dress that I was in love with. But she's from Ohio. She came all the way from Ohio. The Brazilian gem guy is from Illinois, and he does this. He travels, he circuits, he just goes around in expo circles, and quite a few people were like a traveling crew. You know, Vicki Lewis from Clarity Queen is from Chattanooga, which is not far, but she was probably the closest out of towner. Another lady was from Alabama. You know, and we had a ton of people that were local from Forever and a Day, since, you know, that's the local store that put this all together. And thank you, by the way, for doing so, Michael and Sherry Davis, and for, you know, letting all of our people come. And I don't know, it was awesome. Atlanta doesn't have enough of these. You know, there's another one coming up like next week or something, but it's the only real one of its kind. And there's always room for more. I mean, come on now. Keep it going. We can have one every solstice for all I care. You know, I'll do it again. Certainly do it again next year. It's a great experience.
I will end it on this note. How this came about is actually, you don't have to thank Michael and Sherry, you have to thank Pool Newell. She's I don't think she's no longer doing readings at Forever and a Day, but she's a reader and has the Decatur Ghost Tour in Decatur. And Michael had a reading with her 2 years ago, I think. It was around that, 2 or 3 years ago. And she told Michael, we need to do this. We need to do this. And she told him for 3 months straight, you need to have an expo. You need to have an expo. And by the third month, Michael was like, hold on, let me grab Sherry. Pulled Sherry into the reading. Was like, listen to her for what she has to say. So he told Sherry. Now Sherry's like the boss, like all wives are. You know, they're you gotta check with the wife first before you do anything. And Sherry's like, we could do that. We could do that. And so that's how the expo really came about. Complete and blind faith, and a lot of manifesting, a lot of attraction. I remember when they finally announced that they were having it, and when I found out it was at the Cop Gallery, I knew it was like the real deal. And I remember looking for them and seeing the booths starting to sell and how exciting it was. And then in the past 3 or 4 months, like half the booths were just going. And to get in the program that we were showing in the beginning, you needed to be in by like May 1st. And there were people still trying to get booths and be in the program like the third week of May. I'm like, dude, it's like next weekend. Like, you're not going to get in the program. They have to go to the printer and stuff. But sure enough, I mean, Gail Hamby, who I really, really enjoy, she's an author. She also does readings at Forever and a Day. She got a booth either Thursday or Friday, right before. But she just all of a sudden was able to do it type thing. So I was really, really excited for her. She's one of my more favorite people. And so the people who were meant to be there were there. The people I connected with, like she said, were there. So an expo, from an exhibitor standpoint, is very different than attending, for sure. And it's a lot of networking and a lot of like future opportunities. And I've already gotten emails and connections, and it's the day after. You know, I chose today to be a rejuvenation day, and it's turned into responding to emails and still continuing doing different things, but definitely some sleep. Because after a weekend like that, being on spot with all of those energies, I mean, I was walking on my booth barefoot on that concrete floor and carrying around a chunk of black tourmaline from Crystal's booth, and just, I was carrying that chunk around, that and smoky quartz, just to keep me down, because there was just so much going on. But I definitely want to say thank you to Michael and Sherry for doing this. Whether or not they watch this video, they'll go to the universe and they'll go to them because they did a fabulous job. You know, JereLyn and I were blessed to talk to Michael afterwards, and one of the things that's probably going to happen for next year, which I think is a good thing, is they're not going to have any keynote speaker, they're not going to have any paid workshops. They'll be all free seminars done by the people in the booths. Everybody had an opportunity to give a free 40-minute talk. So Crystal got to do that. And they're just going to have the exhibitors in the booths. You know, the reading booths and the exhibitor booths. Because everybody who had booths did really well. And everybody was really excited. And there were a lot of people that came. You know, for pre-sale, it was $10 a day. And then if you volunteered, you got a 2-day pass. It was like a 4-hour, 5-hour shift. You got a free pass for the weekend. Or if you decided that day to go, it was only $12 to get in. And you could attend all these free talks and seminars, and then you get to meet cool people and get cool things like this and cool deals and door prizes. You know, they gave away door prizes. At one point, it was like very early Saturday. They were like, we don't have to do every half hour, because they said every hour. Every half hour, because so many people brought door prizes to give away. There was like all sorts of things. You didn't even have to spend that much money in there. You know, I did a lot of trading. You know, my actual expenses for the weekend was pretty much food. Lots of water. Lots of water. And the Forever in a Day booth was gorgeous. It had like 4 tables right up front. And it was literally like their mini store. And it's funny because they they had all this merchandise like in boxes and random spots in the store. And the store's not very big. And it doesn't have much storage. So Michael Sherry's office, the back room, behind the counter, in their classroom, anywhere they could stick a box, there was a box waiting for the expo. And it was weird too, because you know, at the very end on Sunday, I was like, all of a sudden I'm doing a Reiki session on someone, and I went to go buy this wand, and then it was done. Like literally, it was like, we're done. It was just like, and everybody's packing up and getting ready, and people are leaving, and it was weird. I was like, I'm not ready. You know, I wasn't ready for that, but it was interesting because it ended at 5. By 6 o'clock, almost everybody was gone. Crystal was gone by then. JereLyn and I were walking back to our cars and looking around the room with all this set down going down. I was like, oh, it was a great weekend. Can't wait for next year. And sure enough, Michael and Sherry, I believe, I heard that someone said that they have the dates for next year, but nothing's been like finalized and figured out quite yet. So it'll definitely come back next year. And if you're watching this, please come. And when it comes closer, I think, JereLyn and I are going to talk, but we'll definitely make sure that we let you, our followers, know. So, coming up on 10 o'clock, my husband already went to bed, and my mother-in-law's in the other room, probably wondering what I'm doing. And my daughter's asleep, and I'm ready to go to bed myself. So from JereLyn and me, JereLyn with good night, hold you up. We hope you guys have a beautiful night or day, depending on when you're watching this. And if you have any questions, go ahead and comment below on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the show. Subscribe if you don't want to ever miss a show. We do this every Monday at 9 p.m. Next week, I don't think we have a topic next week yet. I'll keep you guys posted on next week's topic. I have a funny feeling it might be about the red tent, but we'll see. And we will talk to you guys later. Namaste, everyone.